Hello again, and welcome to another edition of Nick's Impromptu Reviews. My name is Nick, and today I'm going to review the award-winning and popular Wits Wagers by North Star Games and created by Dominic Krapuschetz. I hope I pronounced your name right, Dominic. Anyways, Wits Wagers, it's a party-style game, more like a trivia game, but also has a little bit of a gambling element to it. And it's not your typical trivia game where you just simply ask a pop culture question, you answer it. It's more, the answers are more aimed toward estimating or guessing a number. Okay, for instance, still questions like how many hairs in an average human head, or how many Americans own credit cards. Okay, something to that effect. Something where you most likely will not know the exact answer, but you can try to make the best guess, and that's pretty much the object of the game. Try to make the best guess to the number without going over. All right, and it also adds a little bit of a gambling element where you get to bet on what is the most accurate answer. Okay, this game, it suits between four or more players. Generally, you can have almost an unlimited amount of players and just break people up into 4 teams. But generally, it's at least 4 players or 4 teams. Very popular party game, and it's one of the more mainstream games, not like my normal Euro games that I review, so it's widely available. But is it good? Let's find out. Okay, so here's a setup for a 4-player game, and like I said, 4 players is like the minimum. You can pretty much have almost an unlimited amount of people, just as long as you can break them up into different teams, from 4 to 7 teams. And I have 4 plaques out here, but there are, I believe 3 more other plaques. So you can break them up. You can break people up into 7 teams, or you can just simply play 4 players. Okay. Well, anyways, every player, they start out with their white answer board, a dry erase marker, and 2 of their betting chips. Okay, now these betting chips, what they'll do, they'll use those to bet on and wager on the answers they think are more accurate. Doesn't have to be their own. They can wager on other people. And the thing about these ones, these you'll never lose. Okay, so you'll always be able to bet at least 2 every turn. So there's no really chance of you getting wiped out. Okay, so what happens is that you go 5 rounds. Okay, well, that's what they recommend. I'm sure you can go more or less, but you have 5 rounds, and then you take one of these trivia cards. Okay, so let's look at one of these. Okay, so let's do number 1. In inches, what is the average annual snowfall in the snowiest U.S. location? Okay, and they give you a little hint here. Well, the National Climatic Data Center had that in, January 2007. Okay, I don't know if that's much of a hint. Okay, so how many inches, what is the average annual snowfall in the snowiest U.S. location? Okay, so everyone reads that question. Okay, you can have a moderator read that off, and then everyone writes down their best guess without going over, because if you go over, then the answer is wrong. Okay, so we're talking about the average inches of snow in the snowiest place in the U.S. Okay, so let's just go ahead and put some arbitrary answers. Let's say, I don't know, 12 right here. Let's say 20 right here. I don't know. I'm in California, so I really don't know what I don't know much about snow. And 6 inches right there. All right, so you put your answers, and these keep hidden, by the way, until it is time to reveal. Okay, and then once you do that, you have to arrange them in here, trying to be in the middle. Okay, you arrange them from lowest to highest, and you arrange them in the middle. Okay, and there's a reason for that. Okay, so in this case, let's see, the lowest is right there, second lowest, 12, and that. Okay, so it's arranged right there. And the reason why we start in the middle is because the middle has the lowest payoff. Okay, the 2 to 1 has the lowest payoff, and the reason for that, well, if you know your laws of averages and probability, you know the most likely answer would be in the middle. Okay, but anyway, so you arrange it like that, and then you take the timer, and people have 1 minute to choose or bet on what they think is the right answer. Now, the good thing about this is that, let's say this was my answer, 12. Let's say Gray's answer was 12, all right? They're not too sure. They say, maybe so-and-so knows it better. So I'll put 1 right there, or I'm real confident, I'm unconfident about my answer, I'll put 2 right there, or if you're not too confident, you can put 2 right there or whatever, okay? And I don't know, let's just arbitrarily put some of these answers here. Okay, and I don't know, let's say that. All right, okay, so once your wagers are set, you go ahead and reveal the answer. All right, in inches, what is the average annual snowfall in the snowiest locations? Take a look, and the answer is 320. And average annual snowfall of over 27. Oh man, I guess I told you I don't know anything about snow. Wow, so I was way off. All right, so 327, obviously right here. This is the winning answer. All right, so you take that and you multiply it by the odds. So it pays 3 to 1. So we wagered 2 over here, or actually 1 over there, 1 over. The gray gets 3 points, or $3 or tokens or whatever you call it. Okay. All right, and that's paid off. And then purple, well, they bet 2 there, so they get 6. Okay, and okay, that is paid off right there. All right, and they're paid off. Okay, while the others, now normally if they have their normal chip, if they won some before, that would be taken away. But in this case, this is their starting chip, so they don't get taken away. They just simply get their chips back. Okay, so as you look at the odds, yeah, the middle pays the least because, you know, that's the average and most probable answer according to statistics and probability. And, you know, it goes on to this. And you can even, like, bet that you think that all the answers are too high. You can even bet on that smaller than the smallest, and that pays 6 to 1. Okay, so you do this for 5 rounds. Whoever has the most money at the end of the game wins. Simple as that. Yeah, so yes, it is simple as that. But even though it's a simple game, it's actually pretty fun. What the strategy part to it is just more than just a guessing of the numbers, but the betting. Okay, I think the betting really adds like the strategic part of this game, and that's what sets it apart from all the other trivia games. And also another thing is that it's not your typical trivia game where the person who's the big Jeopardy fan who knows all the answers or everything will win it. Okay, very rarely will you have someone guess the answer right on the dot. Okay, these numbers, you can make good calculated guesses, so that means everybody really has a chance to win. And like I said, even if your answer, you don't feel confident about your answer, you can always wager on someone else's. Okay, or you can play it safe, like bet just a little bit on yours and maybe heavily on that, or you can just bid across the board. And I don't know how effective that is, but you look at the odds, you can sort of calculate what would be the best optimal bet, and make money off it. So there is some strategy, and it's very easy, and the good part is when you get into teams. And I've never played big amount of teams, maybe just 2 players, but I heard teams are really fun. Okay, so this is a very good party game, excellent for like anybody, and if you're having a party, I highly recommend this. Good game. Okay, now normally this is probably the first mainstream game that I've reviewed thus far, and what I mean by mainstream game, that it was pretty much already out of production. It was pretty much aimed for a very broad audience. Okay, in other words, you can probably find this at Toys R Us or Walmart. Now, granted, there's a lot of games out there, a lot of my favorite games like Ticket to Ride and Dixit, that have made it mainstream, where you can buy it at a Barnes & Noble or a Toys R Us or any other retail places. But they were at first aimed toward the gaming hobbyists. So you first found them in gaming hobby stores, and then when they sold well, then they go out to the retail stores like Toys R Us and Walmart or whatever. This one right out of the gate was for the mainstream. This is ready for retail. Okay, so this is not one of your typical gamers game, if there's a better term for that. And generally, I do not review mainstream games because, well, frankly, mainstream games aren't that good. Sorry, Monopoly fans. I mean, I played Monopoly and sorry and all that, but generally they're not really good gamer games, okay? But Wits and Wagers is an exception, okay? This is, not only is it a good party game, it's really fun and there is some strategy to it, okay? So yeah, this is one of the few mainstream games that I like. Now, the thing is, unlike other trivia games where you have to, you either know it or you don't, right? This one, everyone has a chance to guess a good answer, okay? Because they're like numbers that you would never think of. Like I said before, what's the population of, I don't know, Alberta, Canada, okay? Make your best guess. I mean, unless you're, in a field of that, you won't know the right answer. But, and the thing is, the little gambling element, I think it's great. So if you're not too confident about your answer and you see it, and you see another answer out there that's more, you can bet on someone else's answer. Or if you're not too sure, you may bet a little bit on yours, but bet a little more on that, and you can spread your bets around, okay? And that adds a nice strategical element to this game, okay? And the fact that you can play this with groups of players, I mean, it's very good for parties, okay? Thus, a party game, okay? Now, drawbacks, well, it is a trivia game, and although there are a ton of questions in here, and I guess if you're gonna be a real jerk about it, you can just study the answers, right? That kind of takes the fun out of the game. But there is, even though the replayability is good because of so many questions and just really no way you can, remember all the answers, maybe after a while you can tell there's going to be a limited replayability, okay? But they do have expansions out there. There's like different categories. There's a kids version out there. So, but still, there is a limit of replayability, okay? I don't play this that often. I only play with, when I go to parties with, other non-gamers. And the thing is, another thing is, the good thing about this, it reaches out to everyone, okay? Gamers, non-gamers, whatever. Everybody can play this game, okay? Now, this is not a gateway game, okay? Now, there's a difference between a mainstream game and a gateway game. Mainstream games, they're good for everybody, okay? Everyone can play it. The gateway game, like Ticket, Tried, and Dixit, those are like games that if a person likes it, they'll get into the hobby. Okay, you'll hook them into the hobby and they'll play more elaborate games. Those are what I call gateway games. This one, I mean, if I teach my non-gamers this game, I mean, they're not necessarily going to want to play Ticket to Ride or, all my other Euro games, okay? So this is a mainstream game, and I normally don't like it, but I do like this one, okay? And that is it, all right? And so Wits and Wagers, I will give Wits and Wagers a solid 7 out of 10. Excellent party game, and it can reach out to everybody, okay? And you can pick it up at your local Toys R Us, local Walmart. It's there, okay? So that's it. Until next time, I will see you all later. Goodbye.